Hey there, I'm Kevin Downey. Thanks for being here today. Really appreciate it. Today, quick video. What I want to talk about is how you set up remote staff located outside the United States that works under you or for you directly. Now, in most cases, they work as independent contractors. For some of our bigger clients, they may come in and actually be employed, or the employer uses an employer of record. But in most cases, the staff works as independent contractors, and they're located outside the USA. So the biggest questions we get when recruiting, and we do a lot of recruiting in Latin America for sales and business development reps to work remotely for US companies, is how do I set up a rep? How do I set up a phone? How do I pay them? How do I track them? All those kinds of things. So I'm going to walk through that today really, really quickly. So here is our candidate dashboard. I've got to scroll down a little bit as we update things daily. This is all the good candidates, mostly 4- and 5-star candidates with their comp requirements. We get between 25 and 75 a day that come in from Latin America to work remotely in sales and business development. We end up with 3 to 5 good ones per day. Good meaning 4- or 5-star rating. We're primarily looking at background, experience, obviously, and then, of course, English speaking skills. So I'm going to walk through kind of how you set them up. But one other question I should answer first, and we get this a lot too, is where do these reps come from? How are they so experienced with U.S. companies and with sales and business development, and their English is so good? The reality is, what people don't realize is, there are a lot of kids in Latin America, especially Mexico down through Central America, that come into the United States for college and then work here for a while, get their degree, work, and then they go back home, right? Because they want the lower cost of living, they get homesick, right? That kind of thing. There's a lot of that talent that we get. Another group that we get are those that have done online education with degrees in the United States. For example, Purdue University Online. And so they have impeccable English speaking skills. They've gone, raised with English, then they go to school in a U.S. university online even, and then they work for U.S. companies very commonly. And then finally, we get some talent from the United States relocating down to Mexico and Central America. So you get a lot of talented reps with great backgrounds and a lot of experience doing sales and business development for companies in the United States. Now, biggest thing, again, that everybody always asks is really, how do I set a rep up? So it is so easy, and we have a dedicated document for our clients on this, and it really is short because there's only a few things you need to worry about. You know how to set them up with an email address. So now you have to think about phone, a voice over IP that allows someone outside the USA to use a USA number. You have Open Phone and Ring Central are the two main ones we would recommend. Some of our clients already come in with a voice over IP setup in their company that they can utilize for a rep. But if you don't, Open Phone, Ring Central, Open Phone, that's what we use internally, is $20 a month, give or take, per line. Okay, no long distance fees, nothing, right? So very, very inexpensive. And then paying your international staff, remember, they're going to be independent contractors. You're paying them directly via Wise or Remitly. Those are the two big ones. If you happen to have a rep that has a PayPal account or a Venmo account from their, they lived in the United States and they have that already and they're good using that, and they use that bank account in the US, that's fine. Doesn't happen all that often. Most of the time you need to set them up on Wise or Remitly. Those are the two big ones we would recommend. And that's easy, and I'll walk through those websites really quick here. And then finally, tracking your rep. If they're doing phone calls, you can just track their phone calls, track their recordings right on Open Phone, for example, or Ring Central. If you want to do more than that, there's things like Hubstaff and Insightful and Track and Clockify that you can utilize to track your rep. But it's no different than tracking a rep in the United States, really, a remote rep, right? At the end of the day, it's all about calls. Are they making calls? How long are the calls lasting on average? And then, listening to call recordings and things like that. Okay. We've had great success with reps. Started recruiting 4 years ago, internationally for clients. And we have a couple of clients that are first clients in recruiting in Latin America, and they still have reps from that recruiting gig. So they last a long time. Okay. All right, so let's walk through those tools really fast, and then I'll be all done. Here's Open Phone. This is what we use internally. Great product. We've had great success with it. You can use a browser. You can use the app. They have apps for the computer for both Windows and Mac. They also have a phone app. for both Android and iOS. Works great. Our rep, our SDR uses open phone day to day. So do I. In our agency, works very, very well. Ring Central's a little bigger one, been around a little bit longer. This is a really common one clients will use, okay? And then finally, the payment systems or the payment portals. Wise, this is so easy. It takes about 15 to 30 minutes to get the rep set up the first time on something like Wise or Remitly. Once you do it though, paying them, let's say weekly, is literally 15 seconds. It takes no time whatsoever. It is so simple. But the first time to get all the banking information in and do a test payment and make sure it goes through, first time takes 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe 30 at the max. And so this would be the most common one. Use it for business, right? And then this is their business portal, and it's phenomenal as a tracking mechanism, and the money always gets there. I've never had any issues. And then also Remitly. There are some countries that Wise won't, you can't send to as a business. Not very many, but some. Brazil, Peru, I can think of a few. A number of the socialist or communist countries. But if the country isn't available on Wise to send as a business, you can use Remitly, and we've had great success with that. In our agency, we use Wise for everybody but one. For one, we have to use Remitly because they're located in Peru. Okay, so hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, reach out to us. I'm going to jump over to our website really quick here. Reach out to us, kevinmdowney.com. You can go through our programs, contact, and then if you want to schedule a call, right here. Okay? All right, really appreciate it. Thanks so much for being here today. Best of luck in business, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.